Hello again, this is another Doctor Who episode review, and it's over Season 5, Episode 1, The 11th Hour, which is the first episode of the 11th Doctor's series. And I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was a great episode to start with for this season. And it started out with the Doctor flying through the air in the TARDIS, hanging outside the TARDIS by a thread. He's hanging onto the TARDIS by a thread, just trying to cling to it as it flies through the air, broken. And then he lands in the backyard of this little girl who's praying to Santa Claus for someone to come and fix a crack in her wall, who ends up leading to the main villain of the episode, Prisoner Zero. In this episode, you meet the first two companions of the Doctor, even though one of them doesn't join them right away. The first one is Amelia Pond, who later becomes known as Amy Pond because she changes her name. And then the other one is Rory, and I know this because I've seen people talk about him, so he has to be part of it. But he doesn't join them at the end of this episode. So far, it's just the Doctor and Amy. And at the end of the episode, you get a peek at everything else that's going to go on this season. And it looks like the Cybermen and Daleks are back again. So, I don't really like the Daleks much. They're always in it. They always find a reason to bring them back when they were supposed to all die when the Time Lords all died or were time locked or whatever. And it's just... the Cybermen are okay. I find them pretty entertaining. I just don't really like the Daleks all that much. And so, Amy Pond's apparently going to get married soon, but she runs off the Doctor anyways after believing him that he can get her back in time. But he has no idea that she's supposed to be getting married. And why does she believe him? Why? I mean... he already promised to be back in 5 minutes, and it took him 12 years. And then he promised to be back, and then he was going to come back in another 5 minutes, and it took him 2 years this time. He doesn't really seem very reliable when it comes to getting back to her on time. So I don't know how she thinks that the Doctor's actually going to get her back on time to her wedding day. This new Doctor I find quite funny. I really do like him. I already have a favorite scene. And it's the scene where he's talking to the aliens, the alien prison keepers, and he says, "'Cause I'm the Doctor, so run." That's got to be my favorite scene, where it shows villains, all the kinds of the villains that he's faced in the past, and all the Doctors, and that's got to be my favorite scene. I don't think there's going to be another scene in the season that's going to top that. That was awesome. And I found it funny how, he's going through the changes, but he's not going to be like the other Doctor. He's going to be a new kind, where he's going to just try all these different kinds of foods and not like any of them. I found that hilarious. Because the other Doctor, he was asleep and slept through his regeneration until he had to wake up and fight. While this Doctor, he was just out there trying everything. About having this little girl cook for him. I found that funny. That was funny. And Rory wasn't quite what I expected. I thought, maybe he would be Prisoner Zero. Maybe they're going to introduce him that way. But no, it turns out he's a nurse. And that's new. That's a new one. Like, the 8th Doctor had a companion that was a doctor, but I don't think... And the 10th Doctor had Martha Jones, who was going to become a doctor, but a nurse is kind of new. And I can't wait to see more of Rory. He seems like he's going to be awesome. Overall, I really do like this episode. I thought it was a great way to introduce the 11th Doctor. He seems like he's going to be a fun, wacky Doctor, and I can't wait to watch more of him. Plus, he's the first Doctor I have ever seen called the TARDIS sexy. I thought that was hilarious. And it seems like the TARDIS chose how it was going to look this time instead of the Doctor choosing. And in past seasons, the Doctor got to choose. So that's also an interesting bit.